Okay, again, it's rearranging now, but this is higher paper. It's not foundation paper anymore. So now here's the make all the subject. You try to do it. I explain how to do make all the subject. I mean, R should replace A, and everything else should be on the other side. So do it step by step, part by
Would this
part.
be right?
No, but then where is the A? I don't see where is the A. The first thing you need to do is cancel out the square root. You can't do anything because the square root is joined to 4. So you can't really do unless you cancel out the square root on both sides. So again,
So what I do, pi 4 times pi.
okay, let's do it together. I think you're getting confused again. Let me clear the screen. Okay, so I got A. Then what I would have done here, write this whole formula out again for the examiner. So I got 4 pi r squared, right? So the first thing I need to show to the examiner is how will I get rid of the square root, the square root here.
This a square root. Just put a square root sign.
There's a square there, get rid of the square root sign. So what I would have done is, if you square root one side, you have to square root both sides, right? So I would have shown them, I square root this, and I also square root this, right? So now my new formula is A square root of A equals 4 pi r. Did you understand how this square root cancels out this square root? Now it's more easier. All I have to do is make the r on its own. So all I do is A square root equals, I have to now separate this 4 pi and keep the r on its own. So what happens to the 4 pi when I move it to the other side?
It becomes 4 divided by pi.
So it's going to be 4 pi, that's it, nothing else. 4 pi is now equals to my r. R is left where it is. And that's your answer. So look how I done it. I seen there's a square root. I need a square number here. I have to get rid of that square number. So to get rid of this square number, I square root both sides. So this side, the a square root stay where it is. This side, the square root and the square gets cancel each other out. So I'm now left with a squared over 4 pi r. Then I separate the 4 pi because this is times here. 4 pi, this is like 4 pi times r. Because we're going to make r on its own. So we get rid of the 4 pi to the other side. Actually, the answer should be, this is the right answer. It should be the whole thing square root. Because this is 4 pi, a divided by 4 pi square root the whole thing. And that's the answer.
For the whole fraction.
Yep. So that's it. So you've got 4 times pi here. Take the 4 to the other side, it becomes a divide. So 4 pi and r is left on its own. So this is my r now. That's why it's 2 marks. This is not basic something hard. So that's why I need to show the working out and how you done it. Okay, now make on the next one, make P or the same, make A the subject. Now, how will you make A the subject? So think about it. How will you cancel out the pi and square root of this? So do it step by step.
So I have to cancel out the square root.
Yep. So first thing you're going to do is cancel out the square roots. So think how I done it, how I showed you in the first one. So there's no a there. Why are you putting a there? You've got p equals a squared b over.
I thought it just make A the subject.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see that yet. But then, yeah, do it step by step. You're doing it again. You're just jumping again. First, what will you have to do to cancel it out?
Put
Did
a
I
square
straight
sign.
away? I didn't straight away make a the subject. Yes. So if you square root this side, you have to square root the p as well. Square the p as well. So p squared equals, yeah, p squared equals ab. So you could, yeah, so ab squared. Now the square roots and the square cancel each other out. So p squared equals ab. Now rearrange it and make a the subject.
Would it be P squared times B? No,
Explain to me why is it times?
divide.
Yes, divide. So it's p squared over b. That's it. That's why it's 2 marks. They're not asking you for anything difficult here. That's it. The hardest part is understanding. You put if it's a square root, you put a square on both sides and cancel each other out. So this piece is p squared. P squared stays where it is. Divide the a from the b, so you take the b to the other side. So p squared over b equals a. That's it. Very good. Now do the next one. Let me take it up. Do number 3. So making h the subject. Again, think of what I did. Think of what you did before. And make w the subject now. Very good, very good.
How do I square it? Like that?
Yeah.
Like put it up here, or where do I put it?
That's it. Yeah, put it up there. Yep. Or what I'll do is put a bracket, and outside the bracket put the square. So show the examiner how it's done. Yep. So that's good. Now this will cancel out the square root. So you're left with h squared equals.
Like
Yep.
that?
Yep. Now how will you make? How will you find h on his own? I mean, how will you find w on his own?
Mm,
So what will you do to this I? You got the I, you have to move it to the other side. What will you do?
times?
Yes, times it. So that's it. So H2 times I equals W. That's it. So that's your answer. So all I do is put H2I equals W. So all you do right there is H2I, because H2 is the same thing as the number I said times. Okay, so now let's look at this. The formula for the curved area of a cylinder is A 2 pi R H, where R is the radius and H is the height. Calculate the value when A is 19.8 and H is 2.1. So what is R? So calculate the value of R. When you put those numbers into this right place first, then find R.
So,
First put those values in the right place, then you could easily find R.
so I need to find what R is.
Yes.
So, well, 2 times pi. Pi is 3.41, right?
All right, don't work it out in your head. First, rearrange it. Yeah, pi is 3.14, we know that. So 2 times 3.14 times 2.1. Show the examiner how you will rearrange it.
Can I do the square thing? So R squared equals all of this squared?
Oh, wow, there is no square root.
Oh, I know, because there's no square root.
Yeah, so you can't do a square. If there's no square root, why do you want to do square root? That's not, it's 2 marks. They're not asking you for much thing. That's why I keep on asking you, write the whole thing. Let me show you quickly. You're not writing anything. You're just trying to do it in your head. I would have done here first is, I would have wrote 19.8. This is my A equals 2 pi R and then 2.1. So now the examiner could say what I'm doing. So now I want to make sure, I want to use a different color. I want to make sure the R is on its own. So the first thing I want to do is move this one and this one to the other side. So we know this is how it's going to be. So 19.8 equals R, right?
Yeah.
If I move the 2 pi and 2.1 to the other side, I'm just dividing it. So 2 pi and 2.1. And we know in the middle, this is times. Now you could easily find it out. Now you could do 19.8 divided by 2 pi, which is 3.4, times it by 2.1. So the answer, so now I could say here, the answer is 19.8 divided by, so first I find what's the value for 2 pi, 2 times 3.14, then times it by 2.1, that gives me 13.188. So now I've shown the examiner how I got the answer. And if I do 13.188, so now I do 19 divided by 13.188, and the answer is 1.44. So that's why I keep on asking you, write it down the way they ask you. So this is the first thing I did. I took all this. This is my A, and my H is there. My 2 pi stays where it is. Now I'm making R the subject. All I'm doing is taking this to the other side, 2 pi to the other side, and 2.1 to the other side. This is what I get. Now, work out this answer in your calculator and you'll get R. Okay, now you do the way I ask you to do it. X, find X now. So rearrange it and find X the value. That should be quite easy. That's not hard.
Oh. I don't.
Why are you doing plus? I really don't understand. Why don't you put the X's on one side and everything else on the other side?
So I can do 3, 4. Oh, I forgot. I can do 4x.
Where did you get 4X?
Plus from adding b. Never mind, there's a minus. It's 2x. So 2x plus y minus 7.
Why is it minus 7?
Because it reverses.
But you know, why are you moving the 7? And why are you moving the, then where did you get plus y for?
Because it flips. Oh wait, no, it doesn't, because
But
it's
you're
still
making
a
X the
less.
subject. I don't know why you're flipping things. Why are you moving everything?
So I just flip the 7?
Right. You've done this right? You've explained this side is fine, right? To 3x, you've moved the x to the other side. This is 2x, that's fine. So what I would have shown the examiner here, minus y, I would have shown them step by step equals 7, right? Now I want to move the y to the other side. So I would have got 2x equals 7 plus y.
Okay.
The y goes on the other side, 7 plus y. ideally, in the exam, in mathematical notation, we would have wrote 7y plus 7. We put the letters always at the front. So it's the same thing, but that's mathematical notation, 2x.
Yeah.
Now all you're doing is separating the 2 and the x and making x the subject. That's all you're doing. So what will x be now? X is equals, so I'm separating the 2, y plus 7. And what happens to the 2? What happens to this 2?
Becomes divide.
Now move the 2 to the other side, it becomes a divide. So divide the whole thing by 2. See, this is what you're getting confusing. Those questions where they're saying x the subject, first put all the x's on one side and put everything else on the other side, like I did here.
Yeah.
Then separate the x on his own. And this is what you get when you separate the x on his own. Please go through this video because you're still struggling with rearranging. And this is grade 8, sorry, year 7 and 8 stuff. Okay, find, now make h the subject. Now think of the way you're going to make h the subject. So h has to be on his own. This is all they're asking. So this is a bit
So it's
tricky.
just got to be like h equals.
Yes, so this is a bit tricky because you've got h, r plus h, and then this as well. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but it's doable. It is doable. The first thing I'll do is open this bracket up, open all this up, and write it down as a separate entity.
So I separate the bracket from the stuff outside of the bracket?
Yes, so separate it and write it as a separate entity. Then you'll find it easy to rearrange it. So you open the bracket, expand the bracket, expand this bracket, yeah, expand it.
So I do this times r and then times h?
Yes.
Would I just do 2 times r and 2 times h, or 2 pi, 2 times pi times r?
That's it. So what will you get? 2 pi times pi r times r, then 2 pi r times h. What will you get? What will the answer be?
2r, 2h.
Oh no. What's r times r?
R squared.
R squared. So here, I would have wrote it down as, I'll write it down, then you're going to rearrange it for me. So I'm going to show them, I'm opening up the bracket. So I would have done 2 pi, open up the r first. So r squared, so the plus in the middle, plus 2 pi h, that's it, equals to a. So now you could easily rearrange the whole thing. Now you rearranged it, I've done this for you. Now you rearrange the whole thing. Make h the subject. Again, I don't know why you're writing h straight away. All I'm asking you to rearrange everything and then find h. You straight away wrote h, I'm not sure why.
Do I need to square root?
Why do you want to square root this?
Because it has a squared.
I know, but you're not making this the subject. You're making h the subject. If you were to make this the subject, then we would have square root. They didn't ask you to make this the subject. They're asking you to make this the subject.
Okay.
So the first thing you'll do is just take this to the other side. I don't know why you're not doing this, and keep this as it is.
So but is it -2 or is it 2
Yeah,
over pi r, or?
No, you don't do it.
Because there's so many things in that.
Yeah, this is whole thing. You're moving the whole thing. If they ask you to separate this thing, then you'll do divide and minus. Then if you're taking the whole thing, if it's a plus, it just becomes a minus. You're not separating anything here. They're not asking you to separate anything here. So here, all you're going to be is a minus 2 pi r squared. But they're not asking you to separate the r, equals 2 pi h. The reason it's minus because there was a plus in front of it. We took it to the other side. Now rearrange it, please. Make h the subject.
Now do I do h equals? Right, and then
You could do h equals now. Then how will you do it?
I need to. Is this r?
No, this is a. So sorry, this is a. So I took all
okay. So all of this is equal to 2 times r times h.
I don't know. You have to make h the subject. Look at what is next to h, and yes, so a minus, well, you will have to keep the h on its own. You'll have to keep this on its own, and that's, sorry. So this is this on its own, and let's move there to h, 2 pi. So what will you do?
Wait, if 2 pi, oh no, never mind. I thought.
No, don't worry about
2.
what the value is going to be. You just got 2 pi there.
I just.
You're still having problems with rearranging. Okay, so I got a minus, this is, I keep on telling you, this is basic stuff. You really need to nail it. I've got this as my first answer, right? Pi r squared. Now, all I'm doing is separating the h. So I'm moving the 2 pi to the other side. So what's going to happen to the 2 pi when I move it to the other side?
Divide?
Divide, because this is at the moment 2 pi times h. Because I'm separating the h, I have to divide it. 2 pi. That's it. That's your answer. Nothing else. If you want to make it more simplifier, you could do, I could show here, the 2 pi here cancels that 2 pi. So I'm left with a minus r squared. You could do it like this, or you could keep it like this. But the 2 pi cancels that 2 pi here. I've got only a minus r squared left. But whatever the answer you put in, you still get the same answer. That's all you're doing. You're only look. This is, I don't know why you're getting confused with rearranging still. So you wrote this, that's fine. We got this. Now we have to separate the h with the 2 pi. So this is times at the moment. This is 2 pi times h. Anything that is next to it is always a times. So now I'm just taking this pi, 2 pi to the other side here, and it becomes a divide. And the h stays on its own. So my answer is now h equals a minus 2 divided by 2 pi. That's it. Please, just, go through the video. I'm going to upload the video. Go through it and understand how I'm doing it, how we are doing it. Okay, now here, make y the subject. First, expand this, then rearrange it. First, expand. You won't be able to do it unless we expand it. So make y the subject, first expand it, then put all the y's on one side and everything else on one side, and rearrange it.
So I take the y's to one side.
Oh, first expand this. You can't do anything unless you
brackets.
expand it. Yes, expand it. You can't do anything unless you expand it.
3y.
Yeah.
6x minus 3.
Yep. Now equals x plus 5. That equals to, put this x plus 5 equals x plus 5 next to it.
X plus 5, not x plus 5y.
5y, sorry, 5y. Now they want you to put the y's on one side and the x's on one side. So that shouldn't be hard. So put all the y on one side and put everything else on another side. This is all they're asking you to do.
So I take all the x's to one side and all the y's to the other.
Take only the y to the one side and everything else, the whole number and the x's to one. keep it them on one
Does
side.
it flip? So it flips if I take it to the other
Yeah,
side.
you will flip because you're moving sides.
So can I take 3y to this side?
Yes.
So then it becomes 8y.
Why 8y?
And then I take
Why 8y again? I'm getting confused.
minus. It becomes 2y.
2y. So you're not looking, look and understand. Yes. 2y equals what?
Would it be, and then
2y.
if I take this x to this side,
Yeah.
would it be 5x?
Yeah, 5x. So no. Where's the equal sign? Why are you not putting the why are you putting 5 plus there? There's an equals in the middle. So equals 5x. The 3 stays where it is, so minus 3. Now find y on his own.
So if I'm halving this, would I have to halve all of this?
Yes.
So y equals 2.5x. Can I do that? 2.5x? Or
Okay.
it can't be decimal.
Keep this as it is. That's 5x minus 3 over 2. You don't have to. You
So I
could
don't halve it.
you could. This is the actual answer. So y equals 5x minus 3 over 2. That's it. So that's your y is your subject. That's it. You could half it. You could say y is equals 2.5x minus 1.5. That's no problem. It's the same thing, but you get the same answer. So now what you have to show there is the 2 cancels out each other on the other side. And that's it. That's your answer. Y is equals 5x minus 3 divided by 2. Okay. Now do this. I'm not going to help you. You're going to do it yourself now. Making t the subject. So what did we do first? Think of what we done first. Then how did you move
We
things?
took all the letters that are inside.
There's a bracket there. What did we do first to the bracket stuff?
Expanded.
Expand it, yes. Expand it, show them the... Okay, why did you put underneath for? Why didn't you put next to it?
Oh yeah.
So what does that equals to? Yeah. So now you're showing the examiner how you're going to break it. Now you're going to break it and make t the subject.
And then does the 7 stay the same?
Okay. Oh, damn, why are you writing it like this? I really don't understand, right? Okay, you bought the t. Okay, 5g, that should be equal. There's an equals in the middle. Why are you moving the equals for? So put equals 7. Equals 7, that's it. Now you could easily rearrange it. Now keep on rearranging it. Don't put plus where there's an equals there. So you've moved the t to the other side. So you got 5t minus 2t, that's 3t, 5g. Now move the 5g to the other side.
So it becomes a plus g.
Yep.
So 3t plus 5g.
Why have you got 5g here for? 3t, you're moving this. I really don't understand why you keep on writing the same numbers again. So you're moving this to the other side now. That's all you're doing. So 3t equals 7 plus 5g, or 5g plus 7, yes. Now separate the t from the 3. What is t is equals? Okay, that's fine, yep. So now, what's t? What is t?
5 divided by 3 and 7.
Let's rewrite the whole thing. Let's rewrite the answer. So you're going to show now to the examiner the 3 cancels at each other. So now you're left with t equals 5g plus 7. This is how you should write it, because this is going to be on its own now. Over 7 over 3. So that's a g. Yep. Over 3. That's it. You're showing the examiner the 3 cancel each other, right? I'm only left with t. So that's the answer. So please, where there is an equals, do not move the equals around. There's no need for you to add plus 5 there. Because the 7 is set plus 7 there. 7 is already on one side. I don't know why you're bringing it to the other side. This is where you're getting confusing. You keep on putting plus instead of equals in other places. Okay. The diagram shows the fishbowl. The water surface in a circle of diameter is 16. The diameter is 16 of the circle. Work out the area of the diameter of 16 centimeters. Give your answer. So how do you work out the area of a circle? What was the formula?
I think 2 times pi times radius.
Not radius. Yes, radius what?
Squared.
Squared, yeah, that's it. So it's going to be 2 times pi times 8 squared. So either all you do is write it down 2 times pi times 8 squared there, and that'll be, and then find the answer in your calculator. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to show area of a circle is 2 pi r squared to the examiner. So the examiner knows, you know, the circle area. So that is equals to the, that's right, AC. So they'll understand AC mean area of the circle. And then is that's right, 2 pi diameter is 16, so 8 squared. That's it. And whatever the answer you get, you get. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. The volume in the fishbowl may be written using this formula. So that's very tricky now. So 1/6 pi height, 3x squared plus 2y squared plus a squared. Find the value of v. No, just put this in. So no, this is going to be easy. Let's put in h, you put this number in x, you just put this number in. So that's quite easy. That's a calculator question. I'm not going to spend time on this.
Okay.
Okay. Work out the value of I. So how will you, so this is tricky, 10 to the minus 8. How will you write 10 to the minus 8 normally?
10 to minus 8.
The power of minus 8, yes. How do you write this down in digits?
Standard form.
In standard form, yes.
So do I simplify it?
First, what we'll do is write this down in standard form, then times it by 5.6.
5.67 times 10 to the power.
Okay, I don't think I taught you standard forms. So normally in a standard form, if it's, so I've got this as, so here, standard form is 10.0, right?
Yeah.
That's normal 10. In a standard form, when it says minus 8, I move this dot 8 times to the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So I had the dot here, so I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got too many. So I should have, that's it. So this is my new number. In the standard form, if it's a minus, we move it to the left. If it's a plus, we move it to the front. So now, so I had the dot here first. I had the dot here after the 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now the dot is here now, the new dot. So I've got 8 digits, and I times this by 5.67. I do it in my calculator. Whatever I get, then this is my k, and then t to the power of 4. So this, whatever the answer for this is my k, and then times it by t to the power of 4. So 4800 to the power of 4, whatever I get. So the answer should be, what question is this? Number 10. First part, the answer should be, I'm going to give you the answer. It's a long answer. So it's normally 641,646. Okay, they wrote it as 6.42 times 10 to the power of 7. So they put the answer down as, so they worked it out and they said, is that 3 significant figures? So what they did is 6.42 times 10 to the power of 7. Don't worry about standard form. We're going to look at standard form later on. This is how they wrote the answer. So they worked it out. The answer came to something like 642 and probably about 6 more zeros. And all they did is was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then dot zeros. All they did is move this to 7 places and they got it here. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's clear this. Now this, and rearrange the formula IKT4 to make T the subject. So make T the subject. I'm not going to help you. You're going to do it yourself. So make T the subject. T has to be on his own.
Okay. So then, wow, that's confusing. It's k times t to the power of 4 equals I.
Yep. So how will you make T, put the T on his own? So figure out what you're going to do first. So you're separating the, first you're separating the K from the T to the power of 4.
Would k t to the power of 4 to the power of minus 4
No,
be
you don't,
just
you don't do
kt?
this. You know, you don't do this here. Here's that's power of 4. So it's like you're square rooting it twice. But first separate the K. First separate the K and just have T4 on his own. So how will you do that?
I separate. Wait, square root cancels a squared. But
Yes.
how do you cancel like any other, like cube
Right, so you're gonna
or to the power of 7?
to the power of 4, to the power of 4. But don't worry about cancelling this for now. First separate the K for me. So you've got the T, put and separate the K and have only T4 on his own. Do that first. So how will you separate the K first? So don't worry about T4 for now. Let's think of where you could separate the K. So how will you separate the K? Come on, this is...
Divide?
Yes, divide. You're taking it to the other side. So what's going to happen? Write it down for me.
If I take a k to the other side, it goes here.
Yes. Then explain to me how will you write it down? How will you show the answer? But why have you got minus? It's a times again. You know, I mean, when we're taking something that is already times, we don't change the sign around. I said that to you.
Okay. Does the I stay there?
Yes, the I will stay there. All you're doing is moving the K to the other side. You're rearranging. You're not. But if you said K, you're going to become a divide. So why is the K is getting divided by I? I don't understand. Why is the I getting divided by K?
I put k. No, I put I divided by k.
Yes, I divided by K. You're moving the K to the other side. So again, you put K over I. I really don't understand. Yes, that's it. So I goes on the top because I stays where it is. K becomes a divide. So please, please go through the video because you're not going through the video. You're not revising. That's what I don't understand. We've done rearranging
Okay.
before, and that's you need to revise and understand. So now, what equals to what? I over K equals to what?
It won't equal t to the power of 4.
Yes, it's 2 to the power of 4, t to the power of
It
4.
is?
Yes, because t4 is 2 is left where it is. Now, how will you cancel out that 4
Mm,
to make t on his own? How will you cancel it out? Okay, it's the same thing as all I do is, so I've got I over K here
it's
equals to,
t over 4.
so t to the power of 4, right? So to cancel this out, use a different color. So all I'm going to do is put square root of 4 here and a square root of 4 here. That's it. Oops. Now I could easily show them how I'm canceling. Now I could show in a different color. This 4 gets cancelled out by the square root. So my answer is square root of 4 I over K equals T. That's it. That's why it's 2 marks. They're not asking you to do anything difficult. First thing you have to do is take the K to the other side because K and T are times in each other. If I take it to the other side, it becomes I over K, which is T4. Then put 4 square root on both sides. So this 4 cancels out this 4, and I'm left with only this. Okay, so please, please, if that was a 3 there, I would have done the same thing. If that was T3, if this is a cube, I'd have put a cube there, cube on both sides and cancel it out the cubes.
Mm.
If it's a square, it just put a square root. So please, please, I'm going to ask you, revise over. You're really weak at rearranging. Okay, now make V the subject. Now again, this is a bracket. Open up the bracket first and make V the subject.
So I times v and u with m.
Yes. So I'll now expand it first.
Like that?
Yes. So equals to what? Now rearrange it and make it V the subject. So V has to be on its own. So think of what you. This is an easy one actually. That's not a difficult one. That's why it's only 2 marks. So again, why are you straight away writing V down? Why don't you show the steps you're doing to rearrange it? Show the examiner the steps you've done to rearrange it to find V. Why are you straight away writing V equals? So show me the steps you're going to take to rearrange it. Look at this. This is MV, this is MU. So what part will you going to take to the other side first?
The first one? This one?
No, keep this where it is first. Take the other one to the other side.
So I take the mu.
Yes, because this is because you're not separating this. This could stay as it is. You're separating MV. So
it's just 2m. Wait, no, it minuses.
You're taking this, rearranging mean you're putting the V, making sure the V stays on one side on its own and everything else goes on the other side. The first thing you do step by step, you wrote this down, you expanded the brackets, that's fine. Now you got MV. MV, we're not doing anything. All we're doing is taking it to the other side. So what will it be now? No, why are you moving the M? All you're doing is MU, take the MU to the other side.
To this side?
Yes, that's all you have to do, basic stuff. So we'll rewrite the equation now when you take it to the other side.
MV.
Write it for me. Write it where you write. Yes, 1.
No, it's a plus.
Yes. Perfect. That's the first part. Now you could easily separate the MV. So what will you do to the MV to separate it? Make V on its own.
Can you cancel them out?
How will you cancel it out? You can't cancel them out.
Never mind, no, it times it.
Now, how will you separate the MV and have V on its own?
Divide it by M.
Okay. So now what happens? That's it. So V equals 1 plus MU. No, why are you cancelling this M out for?
Only the first side?
Yes, that's it, because you only cancel out the first one. This MU could be different. That's because they put M there. Doesn't mean it might be the same M. It could be a different M. Okay, so the answer is V equals MU plus 1 over M. MU plus 1 over M. Or plus I mean, it's not 1, is it? It's I. So I plus MU over M. That's your answer. That's V. So think of how I done it. Think of how you done it. If they're not asking you to separate this, you just move it to the other side. So they didn't ask us to separate MU. So
Yeah.
let's move it to the other side. Now we're left with MV. There's the equals in the middle. Because this is a minus, we made it a plus. So I plus MU equals MV. Now to separate the V from the M, take the M to the other side, it becomes a divide, and V stays on its own. That's it. There's no need for you to divide both sides by M. All I'm doing here is, out of that's done, this is not a square root number or a plus number. So you had MV equals I plus MU. All I have shown them is, out of the shown them, what I'm doing is taking this M to the other side. So I'm left with, because this is a times there, I plus MU over M. Does that make sense? That's it. That's your answer for V here. Okay. Next one. Make R the subject. Now you are going to do it. Make R needs to be on its own. This is very tricky actually. Okay, we got 2 R's. So make R the subject of the formula where R is a positive. R needs to be
I need to make it a positive.
So you have to rearrange it first.
I have to make this R positive.
What I could do is, someone's at the door. Put them into take the R outside and put them into a bracket format. Then it'll be easy for you to do it. Break it down and put the R squared outside first. How will you write it using brackets where the R squared is outside? So you're not expanding. You're collapsing the bracket now. You're not expanding anymore. You're putting them together. Yep, R squared. So what will go inside the bracket?
This and the pi.
Yes. So write it down. How will you write it? Why have you got R again here for? Why have you got R again here?
Oh, sorry, delete the R.
Yes, because you got the R outside. So 4, then where's the pi gone? Yes, that's it. So now that is equals to A. Now you could easily rearrange it. So that is equals to A. Now rearrange R. Find R on its own. Okay, so look, what you've got here, this is equals to A, right?
Yeah.
So now what will you do? So how will you make R? Why did you rewrite this again? I don't understand. Okay, if it's a square root, we have to cancel out the square root. What do we do to cancel out the square root? Because remember, this is getting times here. No. Okay, this is getting times here, right? 4 minus pi times R squared equals A. So how will we cancel out the square root?
We can cancel the square with a square root.
Yes. So this is squared. Cancel out the square root of a square root. So how will you cancel it? Show me. I don't want to keep on giving you the answer because you're not learning at the moment. But then where's the 4 minus pi going? 4 minus pi going now? Yes, 4 minus pi. Put that in a bracket. R squared equals what? Okay, why are you moving this 4 minus pi here for? Why are you moving this here for? You've got the a here. What's going to happen to the a then? So you're jumping steps again. So you put the a down. Now, what's going to happen to this side on the a? If you put a square root there, what's going to happen to the a on this side?
Squared.
No, this is, you put a square root on this side. So what am I going to do on this side as well?
You're going to put another square.
Squared or square root? Yeah, square root. Yeah, so I got a square root there. So that's fine. Now, I'm going to show the examiner this cancels out this square root. So now I'm left with 4 pi times it by r equals square root of a, right?
Yeah.
I'm again doing it for you. You're still not understanding rearranging. Now, how am I going to separate the r and the 4 minus pi? Now you do that. I'm not going to do it for you.
Separate 4 and minus pi.
Separate this bracket, everything inside this bracket, and keep r on its own. So how are you going to do it?
4 minus.
So this is at the moment, look, 4 minus pi inside a bracket, we're timesing it by r. So think of what you're going to do.
Divide it by r. So that's just alone.
Okay, then show me what you're going to do then. Show me, explain to me, write it down. But why are you dividing by r? Because we want the r to, if you divide it by the r, then the r cancels out the r. I don't know what you're doing, seriously. Okay. I don't know why I'm giving you the answers. You've got this is times. All you're doing now is moving this whole thing to the other side. That's it. And then r is on its own. So now r is equals square root of a. And what happens to this 4 minus pi? What does happen to that when I move it to the other side?
Plus.
Why is it plus?
Because there's a minus.
But I know there's a minus, but this is times it. Remember, if anything that is getting times.
Oh yeah. Divide.
So the answer is we just divide this whole thing by 4 minus pi. That's it. The sign stays where it is. Because it's a times, we don't change the signs around. If it's a divide, we take it to the other side. It becomes, I told you, divide becomes a times. We don't change any of the sign, even if there's a minus or plus. And if it's a times, it becomes a divide. We don't change, the sign doesn't change. So this sign here stays as it is. So the answer is a, square root of a divided by 4 minus pi, and r is on its own. This is where you keep it. You have problems of taking things to the other side. This is where your problem is. You don't understand how the sign changes or how to take things to the other side, how to separate things from everything else. We need to spend lots more time on rearranging, I think. Because you keep on forgetting everything. Okay, so let's look at this. Given that y is positive, make y the subject of y squared. So you've got this y squared. So they want all the y's on one side and everything else on the other side. So this is the advanced one. So this is hard. It's not easy. So how will you put the y's on one side and everything else on another side? How will you do this?
If you square the square root on the outside, does it cancel the square root?
No, it doesn't cancel the square root. Yeah, you cancel the square root. Yeah, you cancel the square root. So but you have to square root. This whole thing is square root. It's not that this is square root. This whole thing is square root.
So can I do this and then this and it cancels out?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So if you done this to this side, what you have to do to the other side then?
Oh, I need to square y as well.
Yes, perfect. Now you're getting it. Now you've got now try to put all the y's on one side and everything else on another side. So you've got the first part.
So
Y squared equals ay squared plus n. So write it down. Now separate everything where only the y is on one side and a and n is on one side. So you do that
if I were
yourself.
to plus this, I have two questions. Would I add 2y squared?
If you take
Or
it to
would
the
I
other
do
side, what I would have done is keep the n as it is, take this whole thing, ay squared to the other side, and you'll become, if it's ay squared, if I take it to the other side, what does it become? And keep the n on it.
divide?
Why divide? I'm not separating this. I'm not
So it stays the same.
No, it's all right. What I'm trying to do is it stays the same, yes. I'm not separating. They're not asking me to separate this now. I'm not asking to separate it now. So I'm gonna have y squared, and I'm gonna have something there equals to n. So I've taken the a. What happens to this when I take it to the other side?
It reverses.
Reverses, and what's in front of this? What sign is
A
in front of it?
plus.
So what
So
does
it's
it
a minus.
minus ay squared? Yes.
Mhm.
Now I could easily collapse the bracket. So put the y squared outside, and how will you separate it? So put it into bracket formats. So so I'll have the y squared outside. So I'll have bracket inside there. What will go inside my bracket?
The ay.
I've got y here, so ay, but I've taken the y squared outside now. No,
So it's just y or there's no y?
no, oops. Okay, here, can you rub your one out?
Okay.
Take your y out. So all I'm going to do is put 1 here minus a. So do you know why I got 1 here?
I don't think so.
Okay, because of this. So y squared times 1 gives me y squared, right? And y squared times a, it gives me minus a y squared. Then this goes with this. Now, so I've got this. Now they're asking me, the first thing I could do is square root both sides again. Why will I square root both sides? No, yeah, I will square root both sides. Why will I square root both sides?
Because otherwise it's not fair. Like on each side, you need to do it on both sides.
Why will I square root both sides? So I'm going to do now y squared 1a equals n, and I'm going to square root this, and I'm going to square root this. Why did I square root it?
To make it more fair, because you need to square root each side of the equation.
No, it's not to make it fair. What is there? What is this? This squared, right? I want to cancel out this squared out. So if I cancel this out, I need a square root. So now I'm left with y.
So y times 1 minus a equals n squared. N square root.
Equals and square root of n, because I showed that the square root there, squared there. If I put the square root there, this will cancel out my square root. So I put a square root to cancel the square. Now all I have to do is separate this and move it to the other side. So what will that be? So now my y is equals square root of n, and what happens to the 1 minus a? So
1
think of it.
plus a minus 1 plus a.
The 1 minus a, what happens to it if I move it to the other side? Again, what is next to y here? What am I doing to the y here?
You're timesing
Times in it. If I take it to the other side, it becomes
a divide.
divide. That's it. I don't change the sign stays. Remember I said, if it's a times or divide you're taking, the sign stays as it is. So this is a minus, that's it.
Mhm.
That's a. So that's your answer for y. So let's look at it again. You've understood the first part. So you put a square root to get rid of, you put a squared to get rid of the square root. So now we were left with a squared minus, so we were left with this, y squared equals a squared plus n. So I could see the n is on its own, so keep it on its own and move this to the other side. So that's what I did. So this was a plus, I move it to the other side, I get y squared minus a squared equals n. So keep the n on its own. Now, instead of expanding, I collapse. Collapse means is put them into brackets. So I put the y squared outside, put 1 minus a. So it still gives me the same thing if I open it. If I ask you to open this bracket, it will give you this. So y squared times 1 is y squared minus a times y squared is ay squared equals n. So now that made it easy for me. Now I saw there's a squared there. So all I do, I wrote it down as it is, this way, this format. And I saw a squared, I put a square root on both sides. If I put a square root on one side, I have to put it on the other side. So this square root cancels out this squared. So I'm now left with y inside the bracket 1 minus a equals square root of n. Now they want us to make the y on its own. So let's take this 1 minus a to the other side. At the moment, y times is 1 minus a. So if I take the times to the other side, it becomes a divide, and this is your answer. Simple answers.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to redo this whole paper, the advanced paper, on your own without looking at the answers.
Okay.
Now end the subject. So that should be easy for you to understand how to make end the subject. So what are you gonna do first thing? So you're gonna do the whole thing. I'm not gonna even talk. Then I'm gonna see if the answers are right.
Okay.
So think about it. There's a square root there. How are you gonna cancel the square root first? So think about what you're gonna
The
do.
squared.
Yeah. So you do the whole thing. Make sure you show you're working out. It's 4 marks. They just don't want the answer. They want the whole working out for everything.
And t equals the square root.
Oops, sorry. So I've accidentally pressed the slide.
Plus 3 over n. So if it's, hold on.
So how will we cancel the square root out first? Think of what we did. So
Square.
you're jumping again. That's the problem. You're just going straight away to n equals because you haven't shown me any step. You haven't shown any squared. The first thing you wrote down is n equals. I don't know why you wrote down n equals first. N equals should be the last answer you're writing down here. not the first answer. Okay, yes, two struggling. Let's clear the screen. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is look, I saw there's a square there, square root there. So out of this, put a bracket there, right? And put a square there, right? If I
Yeah.
square this side, I have to also square this side. So my first answer would have been, instead of writing n, I would have wrote t squared equals, I would have shown them this cancels out this square root, right? So I would have
Yeah.
shown them inside the bracket n plus 3 divided by n. That will be the first part I would have done. Now from there, see, I didn't write n first. I just wrote t equals. There's no need for me to write n equals, because n should be always the last answer they're asking for. Now try to separate this whole thing. Now you got this separated and show me how n will be the subject.
So then if you have to square both sides, then it cancels. So t squared equals n plus 3 over n.
I don't know, you do it. Show me. But you're jumping again. I don't know why you keep on jumping. Show me everything. So we squared it to cancel it. Now we got this. Now what will we do first? So I've made it easy for you. Now you should be able to do this.
Do you flip everything? So n minus 3?
Let's take this brackets out. And now you got this. Now try working it from there. Look at the question properly and try working it out. I really don't understand. Okay, if you wanna do that, okay, you're gonna cancel it out, that's fine. You can do that if you want.
So then there's t equal n plus 3 over n.
But they're trying to make it, they're asking to make n the subject, not t the subject. They say make n the subject. Sorry. So again, I don't know why you're making t the subject. They're not asking you to make t the subject. Okay, rub your green parts out. Okay, so let's look at this. So if I got t squared there, right? The first thing now I will do is move this n to the other side. So what will it happen if I move it to the other side?
It flips.
Flips to what? So what do I get now?
Wait.
I'm moving this n to the other side. What happens now?
It becomes a times.
So t squared n equals
n plus 3.
n plus 3, yes? Now, I have to make n the subject. So what I will do now is take the 3 to the other side. So I'll get t squared n minus 3 equals this n on its own, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's still confusion. It doesn't work like this actually. No, I won't actually move this 3 to the other side. What I'll do, I'll move the n to the other side. I won't move the 3 because it's going to confuse the user. So what I'll do is I'll move the n to the other side. So now I have this and move this to the other side. This is the n. If I move it to the other side, this is a plus at the moment, so it becomes a minus n. Minus n equals 3, right?
Yeah.
So now I will try to separate the T2 and the N together. So you have N T squared. So what I'll try to do is, like the way I did it before, I take the N outside, and I'll do bracket. That gives me T2, and then minus it by 1. So now I've got nt squared, and n minus 1 is n minus n. Minus 1 or minus n. That is equals to 3. Now I should be easily able to find the value of n. Now all I do is keep the 3 on this side and take, let me use a separate color, take all this to the other side. So what does it become? So my n now becomes 3. What happens to all this if I take it to the other side? Remember there's times there. So what happens to the what happens to
divide?
This? Divide. So it becomes T2 over 1. That's it. T2 minus 1. And I'll just put that in a bracket. So make sure the bracket stays. They understand this is all one equation.
So 3 over t squared minus 1?
Yes, equals n. That's it. So I didn't write n straight away. N is the last letter you should be writing. So let me show you what I did. I put the square on both sides to cancel out the square root. So I got t squared equals n plus 3. Then I separate this n because this is together. So I could easily take this to the other side. So I get 2 squared n plus 3. Now I could have done minus 3 on the other side, but this would have made it a bit more difficult. So I decided to take the n to the other side. So I got 2 squared n minus 1. Minus n, I mean, equals 3. Now to separate the n on its own, I had to put this T2 inside a bracket with minus 1. That still gives me the same answer. So that still gives me n, that still gives me T squared n, and n times 1 is 1, so minus n. That still gives me the same answer here. Does that make sense? Equals 3. So equals 3, and then I separate this, take the 2 squared minus 1 to the other side. It becomes divide. But at the moment, I'm timesing everything, n times the whole bracket. I'll take the bracket to the other side. This is my n now. That's why it's 4 marks, but this is where people will lose mark here. This is where the people lose mark. You'll get confusion here and here. They'll do up to here. They'll get 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, and 1 mark for the answer. So this is where people will lose 3 marks because they'll find it hard to rearrange it. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a tricky one actually. That's why it's advanced level. Right now, same thing, putting the x on the other side. So you try to do it again, 4 marks. Rearrange it step by step. Don't put y equals straight away. Do it step by step, making x the subject. So what will you try doing it yourself?
So I don't put x straight away.
No.
So I can do. So it's just 2x plus 1 now?
But then what happens to the y equals what? Y what? So if you square it this side, what happens to the other side? Squared, yes. Now we keep on rearranging it. So you got the first part right. That'll give you 1 mark. Now keep
So
on
does this plus 1 cancel out this minus 1?
No, you can't cancel it out because this is 2x. You can't cancel it out. So you could do to the x minus 1. What can you do to the x minus 1 at the bottom? What can you do to this one? What can you actually do?
So I can't cancel them out?
You can't
So
cancel them
the
out.
top is just x?
No, you can't cancel them out. Well, this is 2x plus 1. You can't actually cancel it out. So you've done the first part right. Very good.
Mm-hmm. I can't cancel it out.
No.
Good afternoon.
Mm.
Good afternoon. Why are you popping?
Okay, that's a
What
very
did we do before?
okay. So what I'll do here now is that's a very tricky one actually. So what I'll do is y squared. Bring this to the other side. So what happens if I bring x minus 1 to the other side? What happens to?
It becomes minus x plus 1
No, but this is a divide at the moment. Remember,
times.
times it. So I'm
Times.
going to put x minus 1 here. X minus 1 here equals y squared, right?
Yeah.
No, no.
Wait, so y squared times
No,
x
no, no,
minus
no,
1
no.
equals y squared.
It's 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 stays on its own. So I've separated these two together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now I have 2x plus 1. I have to bring this x. I have to bring this x, 2x, to this side. What am I making? Then bring it to this side and keep the 1 on its own. So I'll have now y squared x minus 1. If I bring this to this side, it becomes minus 2x equals 1. So I brought this to this side, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now I could break the x's up. So let me put the x outside. So I have y squared minus 1 and minus, so that will give me this bracket, y squared minus 1. No, there's no minus 1 there. Yes, no, that will give me, I can't take the x out here. This becomes tricky here actually. So this part is wrong. I can't take the x out. 2x, so that's yx squared. So let me open up the bracket first so I can make it easy for me to write it. So that will be y squared x minus y squared minus 2x equals 1. I think that will be easy to break it now. So what I did, I've opened up this bracket. Now, I could take this y to the other side. So I'll have, this is a long process, yx squared minus 2x, because we're making x the subject, equals 1, this is a minus there. If I take it to the other side, it becomes a plus y squared. That's the first part. Now I have to separate this y squared with this side. So again, what I could do is, if I take this to the other side, so now I'm left with x minus 2x over, sorry, 1 plus y squared. This is a times. If I take it to the other side, it becomes a divide. So y squared. So what I did, I took this to the other side, right? Now, x minus 2x is minus 1x. X minus is minus x. So because that's 1 minus 2, right?
Yeah.
Equals this whole thing. And let me change the color, sorry. So this whole thing, so that becomes, it's still the same thing, plus y squared over y squared. Now what I could show them is I could cancel out the two y's. So here, I'm going to cancel this y squared out with this one. So now I'm left with minus x squared equals 1, right? And I take the minus to the other side, so x is equals minus 1.
Okay.
That's it. Or you could keep it like this. If you want to keep it minus 1 plus y squared to make it look like an algebra equation, you could keep it the same way. It's better to actually keep it this way because you make it look like an algebra equation now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Answers. Yep, that's what this is. Yeah, they kept it the way, kept it the same way as me. Yep, that's fine. So they done it the same way. So they kept it as this because it's an algebra equation. If we put it like this, then it's so minus 1 plus 2 y squared over y. Okay, so that was a tricky one, but you just have to understand how to break it and rearrange it. So what I did is I expanded this bracket. Then I took this y to the other side first because this was joined to this. I couldn't move this. And kept the x's on one side. Then I had to separate this y. To separate this y, I divide this y on the other side. So I'm left with x minus 2x. X minus 2x is minus 1 over 1 plus y squared over 1 squared. And then take this whole thing becomes a minus answer now. X equals minus 1 plus y squared over y squared. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a really tricky one actually. That's why. Okay, work out the value of n. I'm not going to let you do this because this is just putting it into your calculator and tapping it in. Now make E the subject. So now rearrange the equation. It gets more harder. This is 5 marks. Rearrange the equation to make E the subject. So how will you make E the subject first? So think of what you're going to do. So what you're going to take over to the other side first?
The e's.
No, look at, okay. The first thing I will do is I'll take 1 minus e to this side and keep it like this. So you write it out.
Okay.
So start writing out. It's 5 marks, so it's going to be quite tricky as well. So t equals 1 minus, t, then put 1 minus e. I'm just showing them. 1 minus e equals then n1 plus. So now using this, so I've shown them the first step. I've took the 1 minus e to the other side. Now, how are you going to do this? The next thing I'll do is just expand the bracket on both sides. Make life easy. Expand the bracket on both sides.
So
Otherwise,
then
you
it's,
find it difficult, yes.
how do you do t times 1? It's just 1t.
Just t, just t. It's like 1 times,
It's just t.
yeah, it's just t. So you just write it as t.
And then t times e is te
T, yes.
equals n.
Now it's easy for you to start rearranging things.
Okay. Then I can do. Can I take,
Sorry?
wait, e subject? So I'd have to separate the e's.
But you can't separate the e straight away. So you have to go through the process.
I can't just do t minus t to leave the e, right?
No, so you have to go through a process of doing everything. You can't just jump. So the first thing I'll also do is take this n to the other side. So what I would have done here, let me write it down. So you've got this, the first part you done it right, that's very good. So I would have done, sorry. So you've got t minus te. Then if I take this n to the other side, it becomes minus n equals ne, right?
Yeah.
Now, can I break it down anymore? So I've got t here, that's the problem. So I could have divided this n and just give it t on its own, but I've got another t here, this te. Te. Now what they did actually, where did they get another te from? Yes, what they did is, let me show you, I've done a mistake. So let me clear my screen. So what they did, they got the ne to the other side and kept the n on one side. So they've done t minus te. It actually makes sense. I'll put it in the bracket minus ne. So it actually makes sense to get the e on the other side. So now I've got all the e's on the one side. Now I could put the e. Can I put the e outside? Yes, so I put the e outside. No, this e should cancel out this e though. No, you can't cancel it out. Te minus plus ne, they put te. So where did the t, they put here. So they put t, ne plus t equals, but I'm just thinking, where did they get the n from? Okay, let me show you the answer. I'm getting confused here as well. Okay, so they've done this first. They've opened up took the one e to the other side. We've done the same thing. So they got then one e plus e there. Then they've opened up the bracket. So t, te, that's what we did, n plus ne, right? So now they got te, got this to the front and got the ne to the other side as well. And took this t to the other side. So this was a plus and this became a minus. So this t, let me start drawing. So this t, they took it to the other side. So if this was a plus, it becomes a minus. This is already a minus nte, and they brought this to the other side, right? This side. So this is what they got here, right? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Then they swap the sign around. So to make it a plus, to make this a plus, they minus both sides. So what they did is, let me use a different color. So this is tricky. I don't think you will be expected to do this side. So to make this a plus, they minus this side by minus. And if they minus this side, they have to also minus this side. So now this minus cancels out. This minus cancels out this minus. And this minus and minus makes it a plus. You got minus here, that's minus n, and minus makes it a plus. So they minus both sides. That's what they said, EVA, ME on one side. So now that you got TE plus NE equals minus N plus T. Put the E outside, so T plus N equals minus and plus makes it minus. So T minus N. So they just rearranged it. So they got the T at the front and put the N on this side. And then E is equals this side. So it's a bit tricky, that's why it's 5 marks. But I don't think you'll get this in grade year 9. But yeah, so this is going to go in the video and hopefully you'll see the answer. So you can see the answers is going to be in the video, how they done it. Okay, I think this should be, the rest of them, you might, let me see. make T the subject. It's the same thing again. It's a difficult ones. You want to do those ones or you want to stop doing them? But they are more high level than this is GCSE levels.
Then I want to stop.
You want to stop? Okay, let's stop this. Let me stop the video for so this.